Hi everyone, I'm Melissa Koehl, Doctor of Physical Therapy and Pilates instructor. Today we're going to talk about how to lift to protect your lower back. The first thing to do whenever you're lifting something off the floor, heavy or not, it's good to get into a good habit of just having good form even with light things so that when you go to pick up heavy things, your body automatically remembers what to do. You don't have to think about it. But the first thing you want to do is you always want to be as close as possible to what you're lifting. The mistake that a lot of people make, you get in a hurry and you're just like bend your lower back and reach and grab with the weight far from your spine, and that's definitely more strain on your back. The farther the weight is from your body, from your torso, the more stress you're going to feel in your back. So to keep things feeling comfortable, you want to get as close as possible. Ideally, depending on the shape of the thing that you're lifting, if you can even get your feet around it so it's directly between your ankles, that's ideal. The next thing to do is to hinge at your hips. So when you do a lift, you want to keep your back in relatively neutral position, so that's about the position that it's in when you're in standing. So you have this little bit of lumbar lordosis, this little bit of curve inward. You're going to keep that curve in your back through the whole lift. So it's not going to round and flex. You're also not going to do the opposite and really hyperextend either. You just keep it neutral. Sometimes it helps to tighten your abdominal muscles a little bit to remind yourself to keep it neutral, although it's not really necessary to like suck in your gut really intensely. You just want to keep that spine in a neutral position. Get your feet around the object, and then you'll hinge at the hip. The back stays straight. You stick your butt out straight behind you. A good cue to remember that is if you imagine like you were closing the car door with your bottom, that's the movement you want to do for your hip hinge. So you hip hinge, keep the back flat, and if you can't reach the object just with the hip hinge alone, once you feel like you're at the bottom of your hip hinge, then you start to bend your knees a little bit to go the rest of the way. You grab your box or your kitty litter here, tighten the arms. I'm going to pull my shoulder blades back up onto my rib cage, and then I press through my heels, I use my legs and my lower back, and I stand up. So if you notice, the same thing happens on the way down. The line of movement of the object I'm lifting is straight vertical. So that bag of kitty litter is just going straight from between my ankles, straight up, and comes up to the front of my thighs. So then the second thing to do is now sometimes if you have acute back pain, you just flared something up and it's really hurting. There are times where even doing a hip hinge feels uncomfortable. You just can't, for whatever reason, you can't bend at even that little bit. So then what you do is you modify by doing a kneeling version. If you have things nearby, that can help too. So for example, like I've got this table here. So if I was able to like maybe kick or move whatever I need to lift closer to the table, that might be something to help. The other thing you want to do is if your knees are sensitive, if you're on a hardwood floor, you could grab like a pillow or a towel to set down for your knee. And then before I go to lift it, so let's say, again, assuming I can't bend here, what I'll do is I'll just keep my back nice and straight, bring one leg in front of the other, keep the back straight. I can bend the back knee. I can use the table, your bed, your couch, whatever you have nearby to help support you as you lower that knee to the floor. So all the time I can keep my back perfectly straight, keep it happy. I get that weight nice and close to me here, and then all I have to do is use my arms and pull the weight up to my thigh. Once I've got it here, I can grab on so that I've got it as close to my trunk as possible. I can use my hand for support on the table, bed, chair, and then push up to stand this way. And then you would do the reverse for bringing the weight down. I'll turn the other way so you can see from this angle. So I'll kick my towel back behind me here, stagger my stance, make sure the towel is about where my knee's gonna land. I'm gonna shift here, got the table if I need it. I'll lower down, bring the weight to my thigh, and then slowly bring it back down, like so. Now, if I wanted to lift something light, like let's say this towel, all of those principles apply. I can still do my hip hinge, lift, pick it up. It's pretty light. I may only need one hand to pick it up. The other option you have is a golfer's stance kind of lift. You'll notice golfers do this all the time when they pick up the golf ball from the green. When I go to bend down, instead of hinging and bending at the hip, one way to keep the back straight and take tension off of it is to lift up your leg behind you and come back up. So that way the back stays perfectly straight. There's no bending or stretching in the back at all. Same thing to set it back down. That works really well. You do have to have enough balance to be on one foot. To do that, however, if you have, again, something nearby that you can put one hand on, you can do like that. So those are my top tips for lifting. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, comments, you can leave them in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.